Well, we'd like to welcome you into the broadcast this evening. Lipscomb and Jacksonville State just underway, having a few technical difficulties with our broadcast. Hopefully we've got that resolved now, as no score here between Lipscomb and Jacksonville State. This West Division showdown literally just about a minute and a half in. Lipscomb just earning a corner kick, sending it in, trying to get their first shot on goal here. Crosser, that one's headed out, but still in the box by the Gamecocks. Now they will move out, try to get something working the offensive end, as that one is cut off by Angela Steidel. Justin Seaman alongside Erica Plunkett in this critical West Division matchup between the Gamecocks of Jacksonville State and the Lipscomb Bisons. These are two teams, Erica, coming in, two of the top 4 shooting teams in the A-Sun, so we would expect to see some offense in this one.
Jacksonville State is sitting at under 500 in the conference, but it's really shocking considering the number of shots that they have and the number of shots on goal. They actually match up to Lipscomb fairly well for a team with the record that they do. The Bisons have the edge as far as games played this season and victories as they get a chance into the box now.
That one cut off, still in the box. Jacksonville State trying to get a look at a shot. C.J. Graham, statistically the best goalie in the A-Sun right now. So she is a kind of been pretty much a brick wall for the most part for Lipscomb, but you got to give a lot of credit for Lipscomb defensively to that back line and McFadden and Katia Hanger for sure.
Absolutely. McFadden and Hanger have worked well together for years, and they've really built up this chemistry that allows them to perform as well as they have.
Naima Prescott-Beckles had the ball and had it taken away for the Gamecocks. I want to reiterate, we mentioned in the open, but may have gotten cut off. Lipscomb coming in with an overall record of 9-4-1 on the year. Lipscomb is 4-2 in the A-Sun right now, and in the West Division, they're sitting in third place with 3 points behind Eastern Kentucky and Central Arkansas, who are tied with 6 points apiece. Jacksonville State, this is a big game for them against Lipscomb because they're sitting with 1 point right now in the West Division, and they have an overall record of 6-7-2, 2-3-1 in the A-Sun. Lipscomb coming off of a loss against Eastern Kentucky. Before that, Lipscomb had 4 straight wins, and so Lipscomb would like to get back in the winning ways. There's a long pass there. Jacksonville State onside. They will try to make the play in the offensive end. Tracking it down is Riley Kuko. Now it's cleared out by McFadden. Here's Prescott-Beckles trying to get a turn. McFadden tight on her. Kraft, correction, that's Haley Williams. Now they get it near the front of the box. No call there as going down for Lipscomb. I believe that was Molly. Check that. That's number 16 for Lipscomb.
I believe it was Molly Grant.
No, it was Molly Grant. It was 26, correct.
And I was shocked there wasn't a foul called on that play because it didn't seem like it was ball first. It seemed like it was player first as Molly Grant went down. But Lipscomb does get a chance here, throwing it in. Molly Grant sends it back out to Angela Steidel, who's playing in the place of Emily Patty.
Kind of a de facto corner kick by Steidel there, gets it into the box. Shirt trying to get a shot on goal, and now Molly Grant's got it and she'll score. The ball just kind of fell in the lap of Molly Grant, and she had a wide open look at the goal, and Lipscomb strikes first at just under 40 minutes here in half number 1.
Molly Grant's movement in the box meant that she wasn't marked when the passes started to come around in the middle, and so she was wide open for that shot. That was way too easy. They've got to make sure that Molly Grant is marked at all times. She's one of the Bison's best players, and I know Jacksonville State knows that, so I don't expect them to make the same mistake twice.
So Molly Grant scores first in this one, and 2 shots in, Lipscomb has a 1-0 lead over the Gamecocks. So you mentioned it, Molly Grant was wide open, and if there's a player you don't want to leave wide open, she's one of them. Really no shot there by Morgan Lurch trying to stop that one for Jacksonville State. Now Lipscomb will get another look. Here's Grant passing off to Williams. Williams trying to get a little touch pass there to Cammie Rogers. Maybe a good idea, but at that point you might want to just try to send another one on goal, just maybe strike twice here early. Lurch will clear that one out. Lipscomb trying to keep the pressure on the Gamecocks. That goal for Lipscomb coming at the 5:23 gone here in the first half is when that goal is scored by Molly Grant. So now Lipscomb, something they actually had an early goal against Eastern Kentucky before Eastern Kentucky, the Colonels coming back scoring 2, and you mentioned it, Erica, that game that Lipscomb played against Eastern Kentucky, really in kind of all the statistical categories, Lipscomb did the right thing, and actually kind of, if you just looked at the stat, you would think Lipscomb probably wins that game, but that's not how it always goes. They outshot the Colonels, and now as going to be offsides is Molly Grant that time.
And I think it's one of those games that you lose and you're frustrated, and I'm sure defensively they had more conversations, but offensively, I feel like Coach O'Brien's just telling them, keep doing what you're doing. If you're getting 11 shots on goal, that's exactly what he wants to see, especially as much of a hit as their offense has taken through injuries so far this season.
Free kick headed back towards midfield. Nicely played by Lipscomb there just to get it back to midfield. Kick back to Brooklyn still. Now over on the right side are the Gamecocks. Back in the middle, Lipscomb trying to cut it off, but can't as Brianna Eads is there. Here's Shelby Craft. She had the lone goal in the Eastern Kentucky loss for Lipscomb last time out. Foul whistled against Lipscomb. Advantage will be to Jacksonville State. Of course, Jacksonville State, a new member in the A-Sun, coming over from the OVC, so competing. The history between these two teams, it's kind of interesting. It's tied 2-2. This is the 5th all-time meeting between the two teams. They played back in the early 2000s, 2002, 2003. Doesn't seem that long ago for me, but it was about 20 years ago when they first played. Jacksonville State won both of those games in 2002 and 2003, and then Lipscomb has won the last 2 games against Jacksonville State back in 2015, and then the last time these two teams played was in 2019. And now members of the same conference, and not only the same conference, but the same division. So you would expect these two teams to maybe become rivals again. Jacksonville State trying to flip the field. Nice little move on the right side. Here come the Gamecocks. Shelby Craft, though, she's all over the field for Lipscomb.
Shelby Craft was the one who scored in that Eastern Kentucky game. She had a deep range shot outside the 18 that earned her the fan voted player of the week. So she's really come into her own, not only contributing defensively, but now we're starting to see some offensive production from her as well.
Riley Kuko tries to put maybe a off angle shot towards the goal, but it ends up landing on top of the goal. So CJ Graham will take the goal kick. Carapaza with a big kick down the field, and now trying to run it down there was Molly Grant. I don't know if the defender initially saw. Now they're going to call offsides, though.
Molly Grant likes to test the line, and those last 2 offsides calls I think could have gone either way, so she's got to be careful tonight because they're going to be strict about the offsides.
Of course, Grant with the lone goal, giving Lipscomb that 1-0 lead. Came just 5.5 minutes into this one. Ball was batted around in the middle of the box, and she found herself wide open with a clean look. Here's Grant now wide on the right side. Chance to center it. She does. There's Williams just missing it with a header. That would have been a pretty pass and header right there on goal. Now there's Cammie Rogers, sends one in the middle, and that one almost ricochets off of
It's just what we expect from
a Lipscomb player. Yeah, Lipscomb. A couple of times we've seen Lipscomb get into the offensive end. They're really trying to press the box, really trying to put pressure on Lurch there in the goalkeeper spot.
Already on this season, Lipscomb has 92 shots on goal coming into this game and 230 shots total. So you just see that pressure continue to add up for the Bisons.
Nice pass there into the middle, trying to work it in. Good structure for the Gamecocks. Here's Clark. Correct that. That's Prescott Beckles. Now over to Wells. Wells will put a big shot on it, and C.J. Graham, that one wouldn't have gone in. It was wide right, but Graham decided, I'll go ahead and put my hands on that one, just try to get into the flow of this game a little bit. Molly Grant trying to get a shot on. Onside. Here's Lipscomb coming down. It's going to be Allie Dunn. So Dunn now will try to get one into the box. She does. Williams trying to turn. Can't get a shot on. Good defense there by the Gamecocks. Lipscomb, though. And that one just lands on top of the goal. Wow, that one looked like the Gamecocks were out of trouble. And then all of a sudden, Emanuela Shirk with a long shot there that if that one was a couple inches below, that would have been a 2-0 ball game.
She easily could have caught Morgan Lurch out of position. Morgan Lurch was exactly where she needed to be for how the play had progressed prior to that point, but sometimes you just get that lucky kick that almost sinks in, and Lurch is lucky that it's an almost instead of a actual shot.
Kylie Wells can't keep a handle on that one. Here's Grant again trying to slip past the defender, but Lurch is right there to pick that one up. And now I think Lurch going to slow things down just a minute to let her team get up near midfield. It's McFadden with a big header there.
We haven't really seen the Gamecocks be able to get numbers on the Bisons. There's a lot more black jerseys around the Bisons' goal at all times than you see of the Gamecocks. And a huge reason for that is how well Molly Grant and Haley Williams have already been able to distribute the ball, because they don't need the additional help of Shelby Kraft. We've only seen Emanuela Shirk come up, I think, once or twice. So C.J. Graham has her defensive core all around her. We haven't even seen Carapaza or Angela Steidel go up that many times. So Lipscomb's really sitting in a good position, although the Gamecocks in position right now.
That one does trickle through on goal, but C.J. Graham able to make the play as Lauren Hooten that time almost found herself with a pretty good angle there in the middle, but Lipscomb able to get enough in front of her where she really couldn't put much velocity on that shot. Approaching 30 minutes to go, first half action. Lipscomb and Jacksonville State here in Nashville. Beautiful evening in the Music City as temperatures, I think, are probably in the low 70s right now. So this is almost kind of perfect weather, especially if you're a spectator. I know the players still may be a little hot to their liking, but still pretty good evening for soccer. Not at all like our last weekend, last Sunday, when we had all kinds of humidity with all the rain we had and had an hour-plus rain delay. Jacksonville State trying to get it into the offensive end. Emanuela Shirk is there for the Bisons, and she'll pass it back to Katya Hanger, who will swing it to the right side. Here's Angela Steidel. Cut off nicely by Wells. Wells will get it over in the middle to Hooten. Hooten tries to go right side, but that'll be batted back towards Logan McFadden. Molly Grant, the lone goal scorer in this one to give Lipscomb the 1-0 lead. Big West Division matchup here. Lipscomb ahead in the standings of Jacksonville State by 2 points, so a win by Jacksonville State could put them right up there with Lipscomb. A win by Lipscomb puts them that much closer to the top two teams right now in the A-Sun in the West Division, which is Central Arkansas and Eastern Kentucky. Those two teams playing tonight against each other, so that'll be a big game to watch on the scoreboard as well.
And one thing to keep in mind is that the A-Sun tournament is hosted at the highest seed of each side of the division. So if Lipscomb ends up winning out, they would get to host the entirety of the A-Sun tournament here as long as they were still playing, which is huge when it comes to the variety of weather conditions that the A-Sun has, and just being able to have your home crowd here and not having to travel makes a world of difference.
Well, what's so interesting this year is this divisional situation too, because I don't know exactly, and you may know better than I do, Erica, how the tournament, but you may not be traveling to Florida immediately, which sometimes you talk about weather, you can really run in, you get into even late October, early November, it's still pretty hot down there.
Yes.
Whereas the opposite, you come up here, and there's been some games where it's been spitting snow in Nashville.
Absolutely.
I've called some games where it is, you definitely want your winter coat, and you might like to have a heater at your feet as well if you're watching it.
I believe the last time that the tournament was held here, so the year prior to COVID, I think it was 2019, the lift that the ESPN camera was on froze. And so it's definitely been a variety of climates for the fall season. You start off really hot. Usually there's some games where you have to take the breaks in between halftime and the end of the game for water, and then at the end of the season you're ready for your parka.
Here's Logan McFadden. Will clear it out to Carapazza, who will send it deep down to Molly Grant. Can't control it there.
One lineup change that Coach O'Brien has made tonight is Emily Patty was back on Sunday. She's not in the lineup tonight. Still just not feeling 100% on that ankle that was injured a couple weeks ago. Actually, we're closer to a few weeks now. And he's moved Olivia Carapazza, who's normally on the right side of the defense, over to the left side of the defense, and moved Angela Steidel to the right side of the defense. And so far, it's worked really well. Angela Steidel has done a great job on this right side, but we haven't seen as much of Olivia Carapazza. She's still doing her job and doing a great job, but it's definitely a different role. We see a lot more action lately on the right side of the field.
I would agree with that. And now Lipscomb with a little run onside. Molly Grant moving in towards the box, right at the corner of the box. Nice block there. And now Shelby Kraft, she's going to draw a foul just outside the box. So it's going to be a free kick. This is a danger spot right here for a free kick.
Absolutely, especially when you have the talent that you do on Lipscomb's team. It looks like it's going to be either between Emmanuela Shirk or Cammie Rogers to take this shot. Both of whom are goal scorers.
Yeah, and the wall is going to be moved back inside the box, so we'll see who takes it. It looks like it's Cammie Rogers set up with Shelby Kraft. Now they're going to move it over, and a shot on goal, and that is going to be just wide, but picked up by Lurch anyways. But a good look for Lipscomb.
Absolutely, they were able to get it on the other side of the wall, and if that shot had been on target and maybe just a little bit faster, I don't think Lurch would have had much of a chance at it.
Ball headed away, but saved by Lipscomb. Here's Grant. She's got a little run on it. Trying to send one center. There's Haley Williams. Just can't reach it, but Cammie Rogers on the backside touches it towards the goal, and Lurch will go ahead and make the save just out of an abundance of caution. 24.5 minutes left here in half number one.
We've seen a lot of different lineups up top for Coach O'Brien. Sometimes it's been Molly Grant and Allie Dunn. Sometimes we've seen Haley Williams and Shadia Valenzuela, who I'm sure we will see later on in this game. But I'm really liking how Grant and Williams have been passing to each other. They've had a couple that they've been off by like a foot or so, but I think that they're doing a really good job of communicating. They know where they need to be in relation to the other. And so I think this is the chemistry that Coach O'Brien's been looking for, and it's really shown in the last couple games.
I was about to say chemistry is the word that comes to my mind with the way we've seen a couple of the crossers where it's just, a foot off, but they are where they kind of know the other one's going to be almost. That one's kicked out, a throw in for the Gamecocks. Jacksonville State, 2 shots. Both of those have been on goal. Lipscomb 6 shots, 3 of which have been on goal. And, of course, 1 connecting. Here's Wells centering, nobody home, and that one cleared away by Emmanuel Shirk. Good idea by Jacksonville State, just nobody trailing to try to bury that one.
But I think that's the first time tonight that I've seen 3 Gamecocks get into the box to receive a cross. It's usually just 1 or 2 of them. And if they're able to still get those players up, they've had 188 shots in the season. So I know that they're capable of getting it into the box and taking those shots. Their shots on goal, they have 97, which is actually 5 more than Lipscomb does on the season. Their shot on goal percentage is 51%, which is very impressive.
Big pass there, but maybe not enough air under it for Lipscomb to be able to run in and make a play, and Lurch will go ahead and pick it up. Lipscomb, I would say here through the first 20 minutes or so, has been more of the aggressor. Jacksonville State still appears to be kind of trying to find their way a little bit here. And Lipscomb with the goal by Molly Grant, 5.5 minutes into this half. If you're just joining us, Grant found herself wide open off a ball that was kind of batted around in the box, and then she became the recipient with no defender in front of her, and Lurch really didn't have a chance on it. Here's Katia Hanger. She'll kick it back to her defensive teammate, Logan McFadden, who will go over to Carapaza. They'll swing the field to the left side. Carapaza trying to get a ball that Cami Rogers could make a run on, but that one scoots out of play. Here's Dunn trying to get it over to Molly Grant, cut off nicely by the Gamecocks. A lot of space. And there's going to be a foul, I think, against Lipscomb. It will. Shelby Kraft knew it immediately. She kind of upended, I believe. That is Prescott Beckles. I keep forgetting to bring my binoculars. You really, up here where we're at, you almost need the binoculars to see the numbers.
Corners of this field that
They
are
get
a little bit
dark.
darker than others.
You're exactly right. There's a free kick. C.J. Graham come in, and she will protect the ball, make the grab.
Good job by C.J. Graham. Coming out the back side was Riley Kecko, so something to keep an eye on if they're able to get another opportunity like that. She was on the inside of the goal, so.
Nice play by Haley Williams. I think it's going to be Lipscomb ball. Able to get it off a defender, so they'll keep it in the offensive end.
Also not aiding in our ability to see the numbers is the white on gray uniforms.
That's true. White on gray, and nothing aids me when I'm colorblind trying to check out the different uniform combinations and numbers. So we apologize in advance if we mislabel a player. It's not intentional by any stretch. There's Carapaza tapping the feet a little bit, doing a little dancing, and headed out of the box. Shirk battling, gets it into Williams. Williams trying to take a deep shot. Here's Shirk again. She'll pop this one in, and nobody there to really receive it. Molly Grant had to try to stay on side, so she couldn't get there in time, and Lurch able to come in and make the save. Kraft plays it off a Gamecock. That's Riley Kuko. We're doing our best on that one. And it's not for lack of a pronunciation guide. They have a pronunciation guide, but sometimes I will say, reading a lot of pronunciation guides, it's kind of everybody's what they think looks right on a pronunciation guide, and somebody else may think that sounds like something else. Here's Steidel moving all the way down. She'll send a crosser in. That's headed away. Steidel goes through the legs of a defender there. Dunn. Now she'll try to send it into the box, and she'll earn a corner kick. Second corner of the night for Lipscomb. Looks like Emanuela Shirk is heading over that direction. I think it will be Dunn, though, who's going to take this.
And last time I think they did go to the short option on Shirk, and then she sent it into the box. So I expect them to send this one in deep, though.
They're going to go short again, and Shirk tries to center it. Now they go back, and now Lipscomb was offside. Nice little design for that kind of a it's almost a give and go. It's kind of a double pass give and go situation, but just couldn't get onside.
And those plays are the toughest when Allie Dunn starts off offsides because based upon where the corner kick is.
She almost has to go in and then try to get, but unable to do so. Katia Hanger cuts off that pass. Molly Grant, nice footwork and movement there. Good defense, though, by the Gamecocks.
And here comes another situation. No offsides on a throw-in, but then you have to make sure that you get back quickly.
Kylie Wells defending there. Nice job by Wells again. She'll kick it up, and nice little touch pass played off of Lipscomb, so the throw-in will be with the Gamecocks. Going to get some substitutions now, and we're going to get a lot of them. Lipscomb is going to bring in 4 new players. We'll try to get some names and numbers when we can. The Gamecocks going to bring in 2 new players. 21 and 22, I heard, are coming in for the Gamecocks. That's Safana Dean and Julia Papa. So they check in for the Gamecocks. We'll check for Lipscomb, see who checked in a moment. I'm seeing
it looks like Coach O'Brien.
Sky Bond coming in.
Coach O'Brien replaced his 2 strikers up top, give them a little bit of a break. Sky Bond coming in for Molly Grant and Haley Williams, or Shadia Valenzuela coming in for Haley Williams.
And Cammie McGee also checking in, and then the other one is Noah Ganthier who came in. So Ganthier, McGee, Bond, and Valenzuela are your 4 subs for Lipscomb. And I'd keep an eye on Shadia Valenzuela. She is, I don't know what to call her, but she seems like a firecracker when she gets in. She wants to make some action quickly. And so keep an eye on her for Lipscomb. Here's Logan McFadden. Nice touch pass there. Kraft controls it in the middle. Here's Bond. She's working to Kraft in the middle, trying to create some space. Kraft sends a shot, a little deceptive there. I don't think the movement didn't really seem like Kraft was going to take a shot, and then she got pretty good speed on that shot.
No, and you'll see her come into more of an offensive role here as the Bisons have subbed out Cammie Rogers, Emanuela Shirk, and Allie Dunn, who have kind of been the senior not necessarily all seniors, but the at least seniority leadership
Kind of the
of this
veterans
team.
out there, yeah, the veteran presence. Lipscomb has kind of settled into this kind of rotation, though, we've seen, especially with their strikers and forwards. Jacksonville State still just 2 shots in this first half. Like I said, coming in, Lipscomb and Jacksonville State, 2 of the top 4 teams as far as shots on goal in the A-Sun.
I think that's a credit to Lipscomb's back line. We haven't really said their names a whole lot tonight, but that's because they've been eliminating problems before they even pop up for the Bisons. They haven't had any good chances up top for the Gamecocks because Logan McFadden and Katia Hanger and Angela Seidel and Olivia Carapazza are stopping those chances before they even develop.
You could see that pass coming. Shadia Valenzuela was trying to stay onside. Bond went ahead and tested the referee there, but offsides. Just under 13 minutes left to go first half. Lipscomb with that 1-0 lead on the goal by Molly Grant, about 5.5 minutes into this one. That one just cleared away by the Gamecocks.
You mentioned Shadia Valenzuela, and she's a player who they didn't really expect to play a whole lot this season, but when all the injuries kept piling up, she has really come into her own and stepped into her role as a striker for the Bisons. Coach O'Brien said that she is the player who brings the team out of lulls in the game. As a pass in from...
Going to be offsides.
It was a good look, though, by the Bisons.
Well, I think the key here is Lipscomb this first half has been the one applying pressure. Even though you get the offside call, there's still kind of, in a lot of ways, you apply that much pressure, the other team kind of trouble to kind of flip the script and get over on the offensive side. Too much concentration playing defense.
And aiding in that is Lipscomb is winning those 50-50 balls. So even when they have an offsides called on them deep, Jacksonville kicks the free kick, and Lipscomb has been recovering it most of the time. So they've really done a good job of controlling possession and tiring out the Gamecocks offense and defense.
Well, kicked into the box but cleared out. Now Lipscomb trying a counterattack. Almost ran into a 3-on-2 situation there for the Bisons. Now the Gamecocks will try to counter. CJ Graham plays that one nicely off the hop. She almost came up a little too far, and that would have been a tough shorthanded hop. Carapazza, so steady over there on the left side. Really liked her game. I enjoyed watching her over here on the right side. I say watching her over on the right side. That's because we're more on the right side here. But she has been a very good addition to this Lipscomb team.
She has the steadiness that you expect from a veteran, but coming in as a freshman, that's impressive to see. When you make mistakes as a younger player, it's a whole lot easier to let that get in your head and affect your game, but she doesn't ever let that happen. If she makes a mistake, she brushes it off and she moves on. She's someone that Coach O'Brien trusts with anything, and so that's why she's continued to start and continued to be a star for the Bisons.
We've seen her too on a lot of corner kicks as well. She's very good from the corner. She will have the throw in now for the Bisons. Approaching 10 minutes left here in half number one. Lipscomb with that 1-0 advantage over Jacksonville State. Actually, it's not going to be a throw in. It's going to be a free kick, but it's over there right near the line, right at midfield. Referee, I think, directing the Gamecocks to make sure they're back far enough. Kick by Carapazza. Slips through, but Lipscomb was offside. Bond was trying to sneak in right there near the final defender, but just behind her.
That's another case where it's really easy to get offsides when you're watching a ball come in and you don't realize that the defender behind you has moved to put you offsides. But as a defender, you've got to be aware of those situations. And if you can potentially put a player offsides, you need to put yourself in the position. You need to defend your goal first. But if you can get one of the strikers offsides, you've got to be able to take those chances.
Now we're going to get another
The
sub.
Gamecocks, number 17, Lauren Lancaster. Place number 2, Lauren Hooten.
Lauren Lancaster, excuse me, from Gardendale, Alabama. Freshman coming in for Lauren Hooten, another freshman from Fultondale, Alabama. Of course, Jacksonville State in the ASUN along with Jacksonville, but they are not both in Florida. Jacksonville State from Alabama. Jacksonville University, of course, in Florida. A lot of people kind of get that confused when they hear Jacksonville State. They think Jacksonville State is from Florida, but they are not. They are from Alabama.
But the ASUN does have 2 Jacksonville teams. They have North Florida and Jacksonville.
Exactly, yeah, so even more confusion. Lipscomb, the ASUN kind of expanding their footprint a little bit. Already had an Alabama team in North Alabama, but adding Jacksonville State. So now you've got 2 in Alabama. And then also, as the Gamecocks moving it down, trying to get into the box. Nice look there, and a shot just wide, as that was probably the best look, just kind of hit that time. As I was trying to see the number on that. Was that?
I believe that was a 1-2 pass originally from Kylie Wells to Riley
Clark.
Cuckoo.
Oh, yeah, Riley. Yeah, you're exactly right, Cuckoo. But really a good, best look we've seen probably from Jacksonville State. What I was saying before the action there is ASUN expanding their footprint a little bit. They've added a team in Alabama in this Jacksonville State team. Of course, already had North Alabama. And then also adding a team in Kentucky with Eastern Kentucky when you had Bellarmine coming in a year ago. And then really expanding the footprint into Arkansas when you're adding Central Arkansas. So, then also adding another team in the Tennessee area next year in Austin Peay, who's literally just up the road here about 45 minutes from the Nashville area in Clarksville, Tennessee. So the ASUN really expanding, and of course football becoming a big priority in the ASUN. And I wouldn't be shocked if more teams are added in the near future. Still a lot moving. That seemed to all kind of started when Oklahoma and Texas decided to move from the Big 12 to the SEC. That's kind of added a lot of moving parts. And a lot of people nationally think about it in the big conferences, but a lot of people who are involved with the smaller to mid-sized conferences, we're seeing the trickle-down effect.
Absolutely. You have teams like Cincinnati moving to a traditionally Power 5 conference. Some might argue the Big 12 isn't quite what they used to be,
right.
But I think they're trying to build back up with teams like Cincinnati and BYU.
Of course, Cincinnati right now is top 5 in the country the way
Absolutely.
They're playing football.
So you have those teams moving up. So then you have conferences like the American getting smaller, looking for members at a conference level below them. So it goes all the way down. And another team that's on the move is Belmont up the road. They're moving over to the Missouri Valley Conference from the Ohio Valley Conference. The ASUN did snag 2 teams from the Ohio Valley Conference last year, Jacksonville State being one of them.
And they've added that third in Austin Peay next year. So, which will be interesting to see. The OVC, a very old conference, so I would not be surprised at all. I think they will make a move as well, whether that's trying to find some other teams, whether we know there are always teams looking to move up from Division II to Division I, so there's always that route as well. That's actually the ASUN has kind of probably been the poster child for the conference that's really been able to bring in teams from Division II, or like in Lipscomb case, they moved from NAIA straight to Division I. So they made kind of the ultimate jump.
And the most recent being Bellarmine and North Alabama, who
Right.
have been able to compete. You know, they each have their strong sports, as every university does. There's some games that you do better in than others. But both Bellarmine and North Alabama have been competitive in the ASUN and at the Division I level.
Safani Dean there playing it in the middle for Jacksonville State, approaching under 5 to go. Here's Shadia Valenzuela. A little time and space for her, trying to work back. Now she's got some fancy footwork there, but finally taken away. Kraft, she took a shot from that spot earlier. She'll get it over, try to get it to Bond. Now Jacksonville State trying to go on the counter. Carapazza, though, gets it back to steady defender Katia Hanger. Here's Steidel to Kraft. Just misplayed that pass a little bit, and Jacksonville State will have it now with 3:35 to go here in the first half. Molly Grant scored the lone goal so far here in the first half. 5:35 into the first half.
And there was a huge credit to the passing that the Bisons have been able to do. They haven't been able to get another goal off of it yet, but that passing is what set up Molly Grant so that she can move, throw the defenders off, and get that shot. What we've seen from the Gamecocks that's really prevented them from scoring is a lot of solo runs up here on the Gamecocks' left side. We've seen Riley Kuku really just be by herself for most of this game, and that's a lot of running back and forth, and she's easily double-teamed by Angela Steidel and Katia Hanger, who are able to come over. And so for the Gamecocks to get a good chance against the Bisons, they're going to have to work together. They're going to have some more communication than I've seen from them in this first half.
2.5 minutes left here in half number one. Lipscomb working the left side. Lipscomb has had 2 corner kicks in this first half. Jacksonville say that's the other thing, is they haven't even been able to